Catalan nationalism is the nationalist ideology which asserts that Catalans are a nation. Intellectually, Catalan nationalism can be said to have started as a political philosophy in the unsuccessful attempts to establish a federal state in Spain during the First Republic. Mr. Valentí Almiral y Llozer and other intellectuals who participated in this process established a new political ideology in the 19th century to restore self-government as well as to obtain recognition for the Catalan language. The Catalan language, or Català, is a Romance language derived from ordinary people's Latin, named after the medieval or Middle Ages Principality of Catalonia. In 2012, it was estimated to have 4.1 million second language speakers and 5.1 million in Spain. It is the national and only official language of the tiny state of Andorra, between Spain and France, and a co-official language of the Spanish autonomous or self-governing communities of Catalonia, the Balearic Islands, and Valencia, where the language is also known as Valencian. It also has semi-official status in the Italian commune of Alghero. These territories are often called Catalan countries. Catalan does closely resemble the other neighboring Romance languages, Italian, Sardinian, Occitan, and Spanish. However, although it is spoken mostly on the Iberian Peninsula, it has marked differences with the Iberian Romance group, Spanish and Portuguese, in terms of pronunciation, grammar, and especially vocabulary, showing instead its closest affinity with Occitan and to a lesser extent with French, Franco-Provençal, and Gallo-Italian. According to Ethnologue, the lexical or word similarity between Catalan and other Romance languages is 87% with Italian, 85% with Portuguese and Spanish, 76% with Ladin, or probably Jewish dialect of Spanish, 75% with Sardinian, and 73% with Romanian. So currently there are several different forms of Catalonian nationalism. While some restrict them to Catalonia proper alone, others seek the acknowledgement of the political personality of the so-called Catalan countries, the Catalan-speaking territories as a whole. Such claims, which can be seen as a form of pan-nationalism, can be read in official documents of Convergencia y Unión, ERC and Popular Unity candidates. The two main Catalan nationalist parties have shown their commitment to the idea of the Catalan countries in different ways and with different intensities. For Convergencia y Unión, this issue is not among the main items in their agenda. Nevertheless, the Convergencia y Unión has enjoyed a long-term collaboration with the Valencian party BNV and with the Majorcan parties UM and the Socialist Party of Majorca. In contrast, Esquerra Republicana de Catalunya has taken more substantial steps in that direction by expanding the party to Roussillon, Balearic Islands, and as Republican left of the Valencian country, the Valencian community. During the first centuries of the Reconquista, the Franks drove the Muslims south of the Pyrenees. To prevent further incursions, Charlemagne, or Charles the Great, created the Marca Hispanica in 790 AD, which consisted of a series of petty kingdoms serving as buffer states between the Frankish kingdom and Al-Andalus. Between 878 and 988, the area became a hotbed of Frankish Muslim conflict. However, as the Frankish monarchy and the Caliphate of Cordoba both weakened during the 11th century, the resulting impasse allowed for a process of consolidation throughout the region's many earldoms, resulting in their combination into the county of Barcelona, which became the embryo of today's Catalonia. Along with political and economic success, Catalan culture flourished in the 13th and 14th centuries. During this period, the Catalan language gradually replaced Latin as the language of culture and government. In 1410, the king died without leaving an heir to the throne. Finding no legitimate alternative, leaders of the realms composing the crown of Aragon agreed by means of the Compromise of Caspe that the vacant throne should go to the Castilian Ferdinand I, as he was among the nearest relatives of the recently extinguished House of Barcelona through a maternal line. With the dawn of the Age of Discovery or Great Explorations led by the Portuguese, the importance of the Aragonese possessions in the Mediterranean became drastically reduced, and alongside the rise of Barbary pirates predating commerce in the Mediterranean, the theater of European power shifted from the Mediterranean basin to the Atlantic Ocean. Nevertheless, early political, economic, and cultural advances gave Catalonia a mode of organization and an awareness of its own identity, which might in some ways be described as national, though the idea of popular or national sovereignty did not yet exist, according to scholar Balfels. Other scholars like Kenneth MacRoberts and Catherine Woolard hold similar views. Both support Pierre Vilar, who contends that in the 13th and 14th centuries, the Catalan Principality was perhaps the European country to which it would be the least inexact or risky to use such seemingly anachronistic terms as political and economic imperialism or nation-state. In other words, an array of political and cultural forces laid the foundations of Catalan national identity. Llobera agrees with this opinion, saying by the mid-13th century, the first solid manifestations of national consciousness can be observed. The Renaixença, rebirth or Renaissance, was a cultural, historical, and literary movement that pursued, in the wake of European Romanticism, the recovery of the Catalans' own language and literature. As time went by, and particularly immediately after the fiasco of the Revolution of 1868, led by the Catalan general Juan Prim, and the subsequent fall of the First Spanish Republic, which many Catalans expected an instauration of a federal republic, the movement acquired a clear political character directed to the attainment of self-government for Catalonia within the framework of the Spanish liberal state. In the last third of the 19th century, Catalanism was formulating its own doctrinal foundations, not only among the progressive ranks, but also amongst the conservatives. At the same time, it started to establish its first political programs, for example, Bases de Manresa in 1892, and to generate a wide cultural and association movement of a clearly nationalist character. In 1898, Spain lost its last colonial possessions in Cuba and the Philippines, a fact that not only created an important crisis of national confidence, but also gave an impulse to political Catalanism. The first modern political party in Catalonia was the Lliga Regionalista, or Lliga Regionalista. Founded in 1901, it formed a coalition in 1907 with other Catalanist forces, grouped in the so-called Solidaritat Catalana, and won the elections with the regionalist program that Enric Prat de la Riba had formulated in his manifesto La Nacionalitat Catalana in 1906. Nationalists might have hoped for an independent Catalonia, but their patrons needed access to markets and protectionism. As a result, nationalists could propagate the Catalan identity provided that it coincided with the industrialists' pro-Spanish stance. Because the Lliga Regionalista de Catalunya endorsed this compromise, it dominated Catalan politics after the start of the 20th century. During the first part of the 20th century, the main nationalist party was the conservative Lliga Regionalista, headed by Francesc Cambó. For the nationalists, the main achievement of in this period was the Commonwealth of Catalonia, a grouping of the 4th Catalan provinces with limited administrative power. The Mancomunitat of Catalonia was dissolved during the dictatorship of General Miguel Primo de Rivera in 1925. The anti-Catalan measures taken by dictator Primo de Rivera led to further disappointment among Catalan conservatives who initially trusted in him because of an earlier support of regionalism prior to his pronunciamiento in September 1923, and also further exacerbation of insurrectionary nationalists. In 1931, the left-wing Catalan nationalist Esquerra Republicana de Catalunya, Republican Left of Catalonia, ERC party, born as a result of the fusion of Catalan Republican Party and Estat Català, won the elections in Catalonia, advocating a Catalan republic federated with Spain, the same day of the proclamation of the Second Spanish Republic. The Catalan government broke with the republican legality in the events of October 1935, when Lluís Companys, under the influence of the Jerec, rebelled against the Spanish government. A dramatically short period of restoration of democratic and cultural normality was interrupted at its outset by the outbreak of the Spanish Civil War in July 1936. The autonomous government, which was loyal to the Republic during the war period, was abolished in 1939 after the victory of General Francisco Franco, who proclaimed himself the winner of the Civil War in April 1939. And Franco was, of course, a dictator, right-wing dictator, and during the dictatorship of Franco until 1975, there was no realistic chance for Catalonia to get even self-government. A president of the Catalan government was still designated and operated symbolically in exile. Mr. Josep Tarradellas was kept away from Spain until Franco died in 1975. Mr. Tarradellas returned to Spain in 1977, and the government of Catalonia, the Generalitat, was restored again. The Spanish constitution was approved in 1978. A statute of autonomy or self-government was promulgated and approved in referendum. Catalonia was organized as an autonomous community, and in 1980, Mr. Jordi Pujol from the conservative nationalist party Convergencia Democrática de Catalunya was elected president or regional prime minister and ruled the autonomous government for 23 years. Currently, the main political parties which define themselves as being Catalan nationalists are Convergencia Democrática de Catalunya, Unió Democrática de Catalunya, the Esquerra Republicana de Catalunya, although deriving from nationalism, refuses the term nationalism and prefers to describe itself as pro-independence. So does Solidaritat Catalana. These parties obtained just over 50% of the votes in the 2010 election. In 2006, a referendum was held on changing the Statute of Autonomy of Catalonia in 1979 to further expand the Catalan government's authority. Over 73% of the participating voters approved it. However, under 49% of the eligible voters turned out. This has been cited both as a symptom of having large sectors in the average populace disengaged or at odds with the politics of identity in Catalonia, and alternatively as a symbol of fatigue or tiredness among Catalan nationalists who would like to see bolder steps towards political autonomy or independence. In September 2012, between 600,000 and 2 million people gathered in central Barcelona calling for independence from Spain. In September and October, numerous Catalan municipalities declared themselves to be free Catalan territory. In September 2013, the Catalan Way took place, consisting of a 480-kilometer human chain with 1.6 million people in support of Catalan independence. Since the economic crisis of 2008, the government of Artur Mas has moved away from its former regionalist position and come to overtly support Catalan independence. The Catalan government held a non-binding popular consultation on the subject in 2014. Catalan nationalists polled well in the 2015 election to the Catalan parliament, which Artur Mas declared to be a referendum election. Okay, I have to then make a correction. Yes, the regional president of Catalonia is Mr. Carles Puigdemont. And then the... Okay. Okay, well, regional president, but he can also be called regional prime minister. Okay, I understand.